get on the line properly, and then I'll kind of cue you, and you can let me know when, in fact, we're... Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Orchard, coming to you live from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, just freshly back from Florida. It's the Millionaires' Night. Jeff, Joe, and Dan. But that is not to impress you, but to impress upon you. Just, we've been there. We've done it. We followed the path. And we want to share with you why there's still so many people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that can come on board and just build an entirely new life for them. This is a very special webinar. It's rare that the three of us can get together under one roof, one evening, one call. And it kind of touches me because we go back a number of years, no question about it, the three of us, and it's just kind of a sentimental thing. But I'm telling you, I'm pumped because we've got tons of stuff to cover with you tonight. And when we said it was the most important call of the year, there's no question is we're going out with a bang. And I want to touch base with you on what we've got to do this month, what we've got to do in that first quarter. What do we do to have to make the changes? Then I'm going to bring on Mr. Joe Garcia, the best of the best. He's going to talk about timing. He's going to talk about vision. And we're bringing on Mr. D-Cat. Dan Catto is going to be coming on the line. He's going to be talking about putting gift wrap on that 212, what we've done, most importantly, where we're going, what can we expect. Is any promotions out there? What's going on? Dan's going to fill it all in for us as well. So we got lots and lots to cover, and I'll leave it another 35 to 40 seconds, and we will get started. That'll give some of the last people a chance to get on, get situated, so they can take this all in. Take notes. This will be recorded. It is being recorded, and it will be on the steamteam.ca site probably within the next 72 hours. But you still want to take some notes. There's nothing more special than that intimate thing where you're taking notes on some of the stuff that's been said that you can make reference to. Why am I so excited? Because this company's given me my life back. It's been just an absolute run over 10 and a half years, and it's taken me from a dream to where we are now as a family, and just celebrating life each and every day because of this company and how it got me off that 40-year treadmill. No question about it. So now let's get started. And I'm up first, kind of. I'm a bat first here to talk to you guys tonight. We're bringing on the other gentleman momentarily, but I wanted to share with you just quickly where we are. So we all know it's the calendar month of December 2012. The problem is a whole lot of people just shut down. They're getting ready for Santa. They think, well, there's not a lot of business can be had. Let me tell you historically, December is one of the busiest, most productive financial months for distributors out there. Some of my biggest months personally have been in the month of December, finishing off the year. So I want to share with you how, there's still a lot of days left in this month to plug it in and go to work. Last I checked, Santa comes in on the 25th. He's not coming in tonight. I am putting in 12 hours today. Why? Because I'm driven. I'm motivated. I want to make this month, again, another great December for me. So there's lots of days left. It's for the people who plant the seeds now in this last run in December. They're going to plant a whole lot of seeds. I can tell you where you can plant them. You're going to have a harvest in January and February of 2013 that the other distributors won't have if they don't plug it in now. You're planting the seeds. You're setting it all up for that rich harvest early in the new year. So if you shut down now and you think, gee, I'm going to start my business up in January 1 or January 2 of 2013, you're behind the 8 ball before you even start. That's not the way to kick out and kick in the new year. By the way, our products make some great Christmas gifts. Remember that. Every year we give to family, friends, or whatever, some of our beautiful products to share with them and give them something really, really special. But the bottom line is you're going to be at a lot of family functions, extended family functions, office parties, gatherings because of the time of year, New Year's parties. Enjoy the parties. Enjoy the festive season, but plant some seeds. Bring some cards with you. You can talk to that person here, there, and everywhere and plant a whole pile of seeds. You ever thought of maybe going out to the mall where there's like about 8 million people plus sales clerks? I mean, this is a power way to network and plant massive seeds and many, many seeds for the rich harvest early in the new year. Get them business cards out. So it's easy to see how the month of December, if we deal from a half-full glass of water, can really be something quite powerful. It can turn into a gold mine for you. So don't shut down and snooze today. Wake up and do it with a sense of urgency that, I want to go out, and I want to go out with a bang. A couple of things I want you to reflect on before we do turn the calendar year. Number one is 2 key points. Did you hit your 2012 target goals? If not, what do you have to tweak for your new business year? What do you have to change? What changes do you have to make? Where can you improve? This is something you should reflect on very intimately with yourselves during maybe this just bit of a quiet moment on that, Boxing Day or wherever. And last but not least, you need to prepare your new set of goals for 2013. You need to prepare them, pen, paper, and have them ready to go. As we go into that first quarter, and I'll wrap shortly, but as we go into this first quarter, January, February, and March, that's why it's called a quarter. But anyway, you've got to get to work right away. This is a period that's really going to dictate how 2013 is going to turn out for you, 2013. Success or non-successful? Lots of growth, minimal growth in your business. What you do in January, February, and March, how you kickstart that year, is going to determine how you end that year in 2013. So yes, it's a new year, but it should bring in new attitude, a refocus on your business. You have to fill your gas tank full of gas so you're ready to rock. And you've got to develop that new positive attitude so you can carry that through your daily and weekly methods of operations. You've got to hold yourself accountable. These are important things. Become that business professional. There's one thing to have the tie in the wardrobe, but there's another thing to learn how to tie the knot and put it on properly. So make sure you become that professional, bigger, better than you were before. If you want 2013 to be the best year ever, then you've got to remember that January, February, March are going to dictate it. It'll tell you exactly where you're going to end up. Just remember some of them thoughts, some of them bullet points. Without further ado, what I'm going to do is bring a superstar on right now. And this gentleman, you talk about friends beyond that. This gentleman is really so close to my heart, and I just think the world of him. He's been around the business about 19 years, full-time. Think about that. He's done things that other distributors have never even dreamed of doing. He's built the most incredible university website that you could ever tap into, called steamteam.ca. Steamteam.ca. Guess what? It's free. You can go in there and see all of the trainings of all of the greats in this company, dating right back, so you haven't missed a beat. Go in, refresh on a certain topic. Your first 90 days, what you've got to do, this, that, whatever. Dealing with objections, everything is on this steamteam.ca site. When I say university site, it is. And again, you will pay thousands and thousands of dollars to hear maybe 2 or 3 keynote speakers at a weekend event. This is much bigger, better, greater. That's what he's created. How about the Nature's Care site, the #1 tool to build your business? And if you don't have that in your arsenal, get it in your arsenal before the new year. Make that a goal. Nature's Care site. What else has he done? Well, I introduced him a couple of weeks ago as a rock star because rock stars tour. Joe tours. Rock stars draw crowds. They fill arenas. Joe fills arenas. He's that conduit. He's that magnet. When this gentleman steps in the room, everybody goes, hush. They want to hear this dude. They want to hear him speak. He's done it all. I don't know. I don't know if there's any cities in any countries he hasn't been in. And last I checked, I think he's in Mississauga tonight. That may change. He may be on a plane right now. So without further ado, one of the best in this industry, Mr. Joe Garcia, the call is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Orchard. Good evening. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic, Joey.
Great, great. It's been an incredible 2012. I look back in January of this year and what has happened to the business. I know Dan's going to go a little into that after me here, but I look back at what I've been able to do over the last 12 months, and it's a perfect segue And what I want to talk about tonight, Jeff, what you just shared with everybody in terms of goals for 2013. I'm going to share with everybody on the line here today. This call is being taped, so you're going to be able to send it out to your contacts here over the next few days and team members that are not on here tonight. I'm going to share with you what I've been doing on a consistent basis here over the last 11 years in the month of December in terms of reviewing what I've been doing this in 2012. So I would recommend everyone take out a pen and paper right now, and this is a 4-step system that I've been doing over and over and over again. If I look back over the last 10 years, 11 years, every year has gotten better financially for me. Every single year. And the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is because I understand this one concept. If you continue doing the same things that you did in 2012, it's only logical that in 2013 you're going to get the same results. So what you need to do is you need to change things up, do a little bit more, become a little bit more, so you're going to get have an incredible 2013. So the first thing I do when I go and review 2012, I look at my personal development. And I ask myself these questions. When you ask yourself the right questions, the right answers will come. And these are the questions I ask myself. What were the books that I read that helped me in 2012? What were the new skill sets that I developed in 2012 that really helped me get to the next level? What do I need to do more in my personal development? Do I need to read more books? Do you need to study a little bit more? Do I need to take a couple of courses? I'll give you an example, guys. When I started asking that question, I can remember in 2001, it was actually 2000, December 2000, where we're going into launching NHT in January 2001. And I looked back and reviewed my year, and I asked myself, what can I do more? What is it that I can become more, be better, become a bigger leader? And a few weeks later, a gentleman on our team here, he gave me a series of tapes called Born Rich. And it was by Bob Proctor, and it was really my first venture into personal development in terms of what you think about all day long is what you attract. And Bob Born Rich series really delved into the science behind that. And as soon as I started listening to that, I knew I found something that I could use for myself that can improve my business, improve me as a business person, as a person in general, as a better father, as a better husband, build better relationships, attract great things in my life. Only because I asked that question that led me to someone give me the set of tapes, and when I started listening to it, it was just incredible. I attracted that information that allowed me to get to the next level. And I listened to those series of tapes for a period of 3 years every single day. The other thing I started doing then by asking that question is I started studying and focused on 3 or 4, at that time it was 3 books, where I consistently read them over and over and over again. Up until that point, all I was doing was reading many books. I would get that next book, the next book. I wasn't really studying. I was reading. And that was the other thing that really helped me get to the next level. So personal development-wise, you need to ask yourself those questions. How can you do more? What are you going to do to get to the next level? What is it that you need in your life to help you become more, to help you become a better leader? And the right things will fall in your lap. Second thing you need to do is you need to review your habits. You know, successful people do things on a consistent basis that will allow you to get optimum results. You know, last week I talked about skill sets, contacting and inviting. And I talked about how you can improve your invitation rate dramatically. You know, that is a skill set that you can develop into a habit. So what I did a number of years ago, I started reviewing my habits, how I got up in the morning, what I fed my mind in the morning to get me excited, get me pumped for the day, what I did in terms of my personal time, when I was recruiting. So for example, I start the day, I work out, I read, I watch a video of something that can pump me up to get me excited to go to the day. I review my emails. I do my conference calls and trainings in the morning international-wise. And then on the afternoon, I always spend an hour to 2 hours. I book off where I'm going to add to my contact list and develop recruiting for myself. I've been doing this for years. So these habits that I've implemented, it's like brushing my teeth. I'm doing it on a daily basis, every single day. I say my affirmations. I'm visualizing what I want, and I'm reviewing my goals at the same time every day. So I create these habits that allow me to get the results on a consistent basis. So you need to review your habits on a daily basis, your empowering habits, the distractions in your life, how you can remove them so you can look back in 2012 and really get into a situation and commitment to grow these type of habits that will get you long-lasting results. So if you need help with that, go to your nearest upline leader, and they can help you implement a strategy, a daily routine. And it's amazing. Simple little disciplines repeated over time equals major success, equals multi-millions coming into your bank account. Third thing is now you got to review, which goes along with your activity, with your habits, your personal activity, your personal recruiting. You got to write this down, you cannot control what your team is doing, what your leaderships are doing. We have a volunteer army. And the best way to lead, ladies and gentlemen, is lead by example. So you need to review back in 2012 how many people you've talked to and put through the system. How many of them have gotten started? You need to ask yourself the questions. If I improved my activity rate in 2013, will I make more money? Of course. How did you start the year? It's critical. And Jeff just shared a great concept. And starting in December and really being motivated and increase your activity, because that's going to take you into 2013. I guarantee you, and this is what I do every year, is in the first 90 days, you've got to be razor focused on that next goal, which is Paris. And do what you can to develop that massive action in your first 90 days, because what you do in your first 90 days will show up 6-9 months at the end of the year in 2013. So all top performers understand this. To get and start the year and just develop those right habits, look over your activity, increase your activity, and you're going to get better results. And the last thing you do is you do this system with your leadership, with your new people that you're working with. Help them develop into a superstar, into a high-performance network marketer here in NHD Global. This is what I've done every year, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing it right now in my personal life, in my business life. In 2013, I expect to be much better financially again than 2012 because I'm doing this. This is what I've been doing every single year. Every year, my income is growing and growing and growing because of this system. So the last thing I wanted to share with everyone, for the sake of time here, and I need you guys to write this down. Many of you have heard me say this before. I'm not about hype. I'm about telling the truth, about sharing with you what happens and understanding what is going to happen in the future. And it's important that you understand that history is a great lesson in terms of what's going to happen in the future. And if you look at all the network marketing companies in this industry that are 40-plus years old, that are doing over $1 billion in sales. Right now there are 15, happen to count them, get exactly the number of companies that are doing over $1 billion in annual sales a year. All of them, except for one, have been in business for over 35-plus years. They are the grandfathers, the grandmothers of our industry. You know what? And when you study those companies, their top distributors did not come in the first 10 years of existence in those companies. In most cases, their top distributors didn't come in the 20 years of existence. Came after that. But overall, when I studied those companies, their top distributors, on average, came in between the 10th year and their 25th year. Keep this in mind. Many of them now have passed away, and their income has been passed down to their kids and or their grandkids. The other thing that they had in common is they did not grow internationally. Many of them didn't go internationally until their 20th year. And you look at NHT here, and you combine it with what I'm just sharing with you right now. We're going into our 13th, see if I can add up here, our 12th year of existence, and next month, 12th year in existence. So we're around that time where those companies exploded and their top distributors started coming in. Those companies were doing anywhere from 100 million in sales to 400 million annually. This is where NHT is right now. But the biggest difference, guys, the biggest difference is that we're already in 36 countries. We're shipping to 50. We just did a conference call about launching the country of Peru, which we're doing here next week, where we got our products approved in the country of Peru. So keeping that in mind, if history is a great lesson or a great fortune teller in terms of what is going to happen in the future, we're at the right place at the right time. The difference is, so we already have an established opportunity all over the world. We already have a global infrastructure. So the next 10 years, the next 5 years, the top distributors in NHT have not been signed up yet. We're going to have our most dramatic growth if we continue what we're doing over the last 3 years in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. So 2013, guys, I believe is going to be a defining moment for many of our distributors and leaders. We've got this incredible Paris event where the company is going to fly people from all over the world for free into this beautiful city. So I challenge all of you, and this is what leaders do, that they focus on their goal, and that major goal is Paris, and you do that, watch your business explode. So ladies and gentlemen, if I don't talk to you before Christmas, before the holidays here, happy holidays. I'm excited about 2013. I'm excited about what's going to happen with NHT. We're going to have our CEO of our company, Chris Sharn. He's going to do a webinar and conference call in early January. We're going to get out the details with that, with all the upcoming great things that NHT is going to be launching in 2013. So I'll turn it back to you, Jeff. God bless everyone. Have a super evening. Happy holidays.
Joe, I'm not going to let you go, brother. I'm just not going to let you go. I know we've got the superstar himself waiting on deck, but Joe, you're a co-founder, millionaire plus. You know, you've got a massive organization. You've been there. You've made it. But for the person who just joined our company a month ago, a year ago, or thinking about coming on board tomorrow with us, they want to know, can it happen to me? Can I do what Joe did? Can I live the lifestyle Joe lives? Can it happen to me, Joe? What would you answer to these people on this call tonight?
Great question, Jeff. I'm going to answer it this way. because that was the question I asked myself. What we built here, Jeff, thanks to you, thanks to Dan and many of our leaders, is we built a culture of personal development. And the key part of personal development, when people get involved in this training system that we have and listen to our leaders and what they need to do personally in between their ears, they get to a point where they start to hope, wow, maybe it is possible. And then they start to learn a little bit more and get more excited about how they're growing. And then they start to get inspired. When they get inspired to that level, there's a breaking point there. When inspiration moves to, yes, I can do it, where their conscious level gets to that point where they can do it, that when they put their mind to anything, they can accomplish anything. This is where the power goes. And this is what we help people get to. And the only way you're going to do that is, number one, through personal development, but number two, surrounding yourself with winners. You can't earn $1 million a year if you don't surround yourself with people that have earned over $1 million a year. You can't be a superstar business person if you're not hanging out with superstar business people. So those are the things this is how I would answer the question, Jeff. I don't want to give you, something that everybody uses. If I can do it, you can do it. Obviously I've done it because I worked on myself. And some of the things I shared here today in this call is I consistently, over time, developed myself into a person that got consistent results and massive results.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Garcia. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
You're welcome. Okay, he's up now. He's at the batter's box, the legend. And it's a name that attaches to a person that's, that's really earned it over the years. It's someone who inspires, someone of celebrity status. It's someone who's wealthy, famous, and admired for skills and talents and accomplishments in this industry, or in any industry. Well, this next speaker, he is that. He is a legend. He's made millions. Along with Joe, co-founder of this company. 24 years of full-time experience. Think about this. 24 years of full-time experience. His numbers are so big when it comes to his team, in the millions of distributors in over 50 countries. He's been featured in special books, magazines, articles, audios. He has $1 million homes everywhere. I'm pouting a little bit. I just left Florida, and he's at his $1 million beachfront condo in Boca Raton as we speak. You should see his property in Toronto, his properties in the Muskokas. But you know what? This general did it. And he's gone on to be known everywhere in every circle of direct marketing. Doesn't matter what company it is, they've all heard of him. So I'm bringing on the top dog right now. Mr. Dan Catto, the call is yours, sir.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you. Thanks so much for that kind introduction. Just want to do a quick audio. I'm coming through clear?
Absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. Great job tonight. Wow. There's certainly a lot we can talk about tonight and share with everyone because so much has happened with us over the last 11 years. You've been part of those early, literally, not months, but days and weeks when we were formulating all of this just, in Canada before, we ventured into Europe, before we got into Eastern Europe, before we got into Asia, before we got into all of those other markets. Jeff, you remember that. I mean, it was just so fresh. When we started getting multiple products, I mean, all of this stuff is so fresh for you and for Joe and for myself. And, for people that are listening to this call here tonight, there's a few things that I want to reflect on, because Joe made a great statement, and that is that history is a great lesson. And that is something that, when I'm saying that we want to reflect on is what we've done, what we've accomplished in twofold. One is a group in the field, and that's us as leaders, as distributors, as team members, as us driving our business, us building our organizations, building on our dreams, building on our goals, and all of these aspirations that we have for our families, for ourselves, all these things that we've got laid out. And also what NHT has done. And when I say what NHT has done, there's two sides to what happens here in this incredible vehicle. One is us. We're the ones that drive this. We are the engine to this incredible machine that has gone around the world. When we started just with one little choo-choo train, this little red train that this little engine that could, and it has. That started 11 years ago, and basically Joe and I were the engineers, we were the conductors, and Jeff was just about the first one that joined us in Canada. So, when we started, we had to have the cooperation of some corporate partners who would be able to deliver the products for us, get the products that we needed for the field, help us with incentives and promotions, help us with events, help us with programs, all of this. We had to push them. Well, everything basically that we have wanted, we dreamed about, our visions, our goals, everything that we had that came to us, that Joe and I and Jeff put together, NHT has come through. They have delivered. And I want to take you back here, 11 years ago, when we sat around in Toronto, and then, we ventured real quick into Ottawa, and that's when Jeff joined the team. We didn't have multiple products. We still didn't really have millionaires because we didn't create our millionaires until the end of the first year, but I mean, we didn't have that frame of reference. We weren't in other countries, but we wanted to be. We didn't have all of these incredible incentives and promotions that we have had over the last 11 years, but they were all thoughts in my mind, Joe's mind. These were all ideas that we had. So they weren't NHT's ideas, they were ours as leaders in the field, and we brought them to NHT. Most companies that are out there in the industry won't give the cooperation that we needed as leaders in the field. Well, I'll tell you, they delivered. Basically, every big program, event, incentive, promotion, everything that we ever wanted, we didn't get it overnight, but we worked with them, worked on them, and they were able to deliver. Jamie talked about it tonight on this opportunity call, about some of the event programs that we've had and getaways that the company has had around the world. There's trips to Vegas, to Hong Kong, to Dubai, the Canary Islands, Cyprus, Hawaii, Milan. Now we've got this incredible program, incentive promotion that we have to send our leaders, to send our people to Paris, but not alone. They can go with their spouse. The flight is covered, the hotel is covered, their spouse is covered, and you get a spending spree expense account. Unbelievable. But we requested this. This all came from us. So, the products, where did the products come from? We brought them products. All of these, just about every single product that we have right now in our product mix came from our leaders and our leaders' ideas. So they have been incredible partners in cooperating and supporting us and where we wanted to go over the last 11 years. I remember Joe and I sitting back 11 years ago saying, thinking, could you imagine us doing $1 billion in business and popping, millionaires in just about every single country that we go into, having these impact consumable products that change people's lives? We've done that. We have done all of the things that we basically set out to do in the last 11 years. Gang, do you know where Taiwan and Korea, do you know where all that came from? Jeff Orchard. That's, basically the Far East came through Jeff Orchard. Eastern Europe, Western Europe, this came down through Joe, through Garth Wright, which all came through us and finding the leadership over there. But the company supported us in getting the infrastructure and all of that. Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Asia, all of the countries and markets that we've got in Asia. We're just on a big call tonight with Peru and the rest of South America. Where did that come from? Peru came from Ricky V. Ricky V's down through Andreas, the great Greek out of Chicago, which is down through Garth Wright. So, all of this, these countries, these markets, these programs, these products, these incentives, they all come from our leadership, our thoughts, our dreams, our goals, our vision. So, when you look at what we've done, unbelievable. Basically, $1 billion in business. But what are we going to do? Well, gang, here are some of the things that we're presenting right now to NHT. Now, this is not NHT. This is us. And this is my vision. This is where I want to go. This is where Joe wants to go. Jeff and I, we were just talking about this earlier. We want to, and 100% in my gut, heart, head, I know we will get it one day. May not happen overnight. But we'll get some of them this year. We'll get some of them maybe the following year. But we will one day have a profit-sharing program. I believe that. That's something that we'll have for our leaders and our distributors that get to a particular level, that they'll get a profit-sharing bonus and check and commission check based on worldwide sales. That is something that we're looking at. We've just launched a car program, a luxury car program in Russia and Eastern Europe, where our distributors right now will be driving around this in 2013 in Bentleys and Rolls Royces. 3 years ago, these distributors were getting around in buses and hitchhiking because they couldn't afford a car. And in 3 years, they're in a Bentley and a Rolls Royce. That car program, I believe, will go worldwide here in the coming months. Now, that's from me. That's not from NHT. But I tell you, we already have the program already in HD in Russia. Here's something else that I believe that we'll have one day. Because some other great giants out there, one of my closest friends in the industry, one of my mentors and coaches, and I've worked closely with them over the years, and a program that they've introduced, which I believe we will introduce one day. We've got our distributors flying on planes for the first time. They're flying around the world for the first time. We've got them flying around in first class for the first time, something they could never dream about, flying around business class and first class. But how about flying on a private jet? This is what we're looking for our leaders as they go around the world here in the future, flying around in the private jet program. These are parts of our vision and our dream and where we want to take our leaders and you in the future. I also want to get an education program for our leaders and our distributors who qualify. They qualify for an education program where their university or their private school education is covered, not just for their children, but for their grandchildren and their grandchildren's children. As Joe so beautifully has said, we can pass this down, and it has been passed down. And Joe was just talking about how he's already got his distributorship in his will to pass down to his kids and his grandkids and their grandkids. An education program for your family, sending them to the finest private schools and universities in the world today. How about having a dream home program? Your mortgage in your dream home is covered. This is something else that we're looking at. This is a part of my vision, our vision for all of you that we're seeing in the future and in the very, very near future. So, gang, these are just some of the little things that we have that are really beautiful, big, incredibly dramatic and dreamful things that we have for our people, not just here but around the world, that Joe and I and Jeff are so excited for all of you. We've been able to do so much just in the last year because of the support of so many of you. We've been able to do so much over the last 10, 11, now going on 12 years because of so many people around the world, and we thank all of them, especially for the last 11 years and this last 12 months. But 2013, just peeking over the horizon here, what we've got some very, very, very exciting things happening. The things that I just shared with you, I know will happen. They may not happen overnight. As I've shared with you, so much of our success does not happen overnight. It happens over time. But continue with your efforts that you've got in the business and what you've been doing all along, and you will realize your dreams. Remember, everything starts with that first thought. That very, very first thought. What would you want for your family? And if you knew you could have all of these things that have been accomplished for so many other distributors around the world, all the things that they've been able to do, why not you, and why not now? 2013 can be our greatest year ever. It certainly will be here for so many of us, and I really believe it will be for all of us. So for all of you, to all of you, I just want to thank you on behalf of Joe, Jeff, and certainly myself here and our families. If I don't get a chance to speak with you directly or privately before the new year, have a great, great holiday, as Mr. Orchard says, and he will be. He's going to work right through it because he's got so many other great goals and dreams and a great, great vision for his team, his family, and his organization. The opportunities are just absolutely endless here. So, gang, thank you for so much and all the support you provided for us. It is going to be an incredible 2013. Jeffrey, thank you, my friend. Joseph, thank you, my buddy. And, guys, I'll turn it back to, I guess, you, Jeff. You're going to wrap it all up here.
You think I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm not wrapping it up.
Right.
When I get you in the corner, I'm not going to let you go. When I get Joe in the corner, okay. We discussed it. The person listening in, can they have it all? And Joe answered that so wonderfully. And if they follow the system, can they have it? Yes, and all the rest of it. But what about if it's a different kind of character, a different kind of vehicle where it's maybe somebody a bit quiet, saying, you know what, I've never been in business before. Or what about the person, Dan, who says, you know, I'm not starting from a position of strength. I don't have $20,000 in the bank. Man, I lost my job. I got enough to come in this company, but I'm not starting from that big, strong, strengthy, you know, strong position. Can it happen for me? Can I get there? Does it rule me out, you know?
Yeah, and you know, Jeff, well, that's you're asking the right guy, because that's really where I was 24 years ago, as you know. It's interesting how, you know, when you look at history, not just in our industry, but there's a number of great books out there. Success Built to Last is one great one, and it's all on you know, great organizations. There's a great book by the same authors about successful people built to last, and where did they come from? You know, their successes and how they've been, you know, they're still going on today. They built legacies, but where they came from. It is incredible how many people inside and outside of this industry that have experienced tremendous success in their journey and their endeavor, but just prior to that have encountered such adversity and challenges. You know, adversity and challenges will force you in so many different ways to do things that you normally wouldn't do. For myself, 24 years ago, I would not have looked at this industry because of the preconceived misconceptions that I had in this industry. But when I lost everything, which kind of started in February of 1988, and it, you know, accelerated for the next 4, 5, and 6 months, and it wasn't until like June of '88 that I really got started. There's about 5 months of just one thing after another. A pylon in my life went down, the next one went down, the next one went down, and I was forced to look because I couldn't get a job anywhere. I was getting turned down everywhere. I couldn't afford to go back into business for myself. I had to make this thing work. And not only that, that first year was very challenging. It was really, really hard that first year. And every day I had a reason to quit. I mean, there was something there that, you know, I just had my 10th no. You know, I just had another door shut on me. I just had another family member or friend who said I was nuts for doing this, and I was going to end up in jail or something. There was something every day that was just a smack in the face. But, you know, Jeff, that's where I was, living with mom and dad. Not being able to turn back was a blessing in disguise, because back then, if I could have, and a lot of those days when I was getting just the stuffings kicked out of me, I couldn't turn back. I had to keep going. And I just didn't quit. That was the biggest thing. I just didn't quit. I kept going, I kept going, I kept going. And I guess if anything, you know, if you want it bad enough, if you really want it bad enough, my gosh, what you can get here. Oh, it's not just the millions that you can earn in income. It's, you know, from the lifestyle to the lives that you can change in the country. So I mean, just every possible dream that you could ever have is right here in this vehicle. So, you know, as Joe had said earlier, and it was another really good point about, you know, what you're reading, what you're listening to. I think 3 questions you do want to ask yourself as you go forward here. It's kind of echoing what Joe said. You know, what are you reading? What are you reading? These 3 things will influence what I'm just going to share with you right now. What are you reading? What are you listening to? And who are you hanging around with? Those 3 things, if you don't like where you are, you may need to take a look at those 3 things. Those are 3 major influences that can determine who you are, where you are, and most importantly, I think, where you're going to end up going. So take a look at those 3 things. But Jeffrey, just to answer your question again directly, you know, my situation is probably a real good example of that person coming in. Can I do it? Well, I don't know too many people that were in a worse situation that I was in 24 years ago, and I made it happen. But it was because I really, really had to, and I had nowhere else to go. So I fought for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Dan Catto. Thank you so much, Dan.
Appreciate it.
On behalf of Dan Catto, the legend, on behalf of Joe Garcia, the rock star, myself, Jeff Orchard, it's been our pleasure to bring this webinar to you this evening. A little different flavoring than the teaching, etc. More coming from within ourselves. And on behalf of the 3 of us, we'll conclude by saying happy holidays to everyone. And we hope each and every one of you will join us on the beaches of the world. It's been a blast tonight. Thank you, everyone, and good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.